Mr. Chair, Republicans are unwavering in our support to hold China accountable for the human rights violations that are occurring in Xinjiang, the Uyghur Autonomous Region, or the XUAR. We agree with each other on the facts on the ground, from the oppression that the Uyghurs are feeling to the forced labor camps. In fact, I would remind my colleagues that we passed H.R. 6210 last week, literally last week, on a bipartisan basis to address these human rights violations. Moreover, to date, the Trump administration has taken significant action to punish human rights violators in the region, including recent sanctions and additions to the Commerce Department's entity list. On the other hand, this window dressing bill put forth by the Democrats less than a month before the election and a week after we actually passed legislation will not hold any bad actors accountable. Adding additional mandatory disclosures for public companies is not the appropriate way to curtail human rights atrocities. Sanctioning is the most effective way to hold these human rights abusers accountable. The framework of this bill is deeply flawed. First, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, has no foreign policy expertise. The SEC's three-part mission is to, 1, protect investors, 2, maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and 3, facilitate capital formation here in the United States. The Treasury and State Department handle the sanctions regime. We should instead be working with both the State Department and Treasury to hold these bad actors accountable, not the Securities and Exchange Commission. And I would put out, Mr. Speaker, that, or Mr. Chair, that we are working with State Department and Treasury. To be clear, this bill would require the SEC to issue rules regarding American companies, and only American companies, to disclose whether they or any of their affiliates directly or indirectly engaged with an entity or an affiliate of an entity to import not only goods from the XUAR, but also goods containing materials originating or sourced from the XUAR. Now, we all have been talking about Disney a lot and a lot of other places that have had content from seemingly this area. So now let's look at what this would mean for a manufacturer. Let's look at what this would mean in so many various areas of our economy. This means that companies will be required to know if its affiliates, its suppliers, anyone they may have a relationship with, are, quote, indirectly engaged with affiliates of certain companies. So you may not be doing something directly, but an affiliate or a partner of yours may be doing something with an affiliate or a partner of somebody else that may be dealing and doing some business in that area. This is a poorly constructed disclosure regime where a public company would be required to disclose impossible to discern information, and it would be liable for securities fraud, a very powerful word, if it is impossible to discern information that is not disclosed correctly. So think about that. They may not know they're breaking the law, this law, but they would be held accountable for that. Further, the bill does not contain a sunset clause, and the disclosure requirement would apply indefinitely, even if behavior in the region has changed. This bill's framework has proven disastrous. Section 1502 of the Dodd-Frank Act mandated disclosures relating to the use of conflict minerals that originated in the DRC, or the Democratic Republic of Congo, or an adjoining country. There was an entire Great Lakes region, they called it, in Africa. The implementation of Section 1502 cost billions of dollars. Democrat estimates put it at over $7 billion, and the provisions led to devastating job losses, not here in America, but in Africa. Mr. Chair, this bill does not go through regular order either, I might add. Committee Republicans have not had the opportunity to make substantive changes or suggestions, let alone examine the bill's likely harmful consequences. So, again, just last week, the House passed H.R. 6210, the Uyghur Forced Labor Act, to hold China accountable. That's where the responsibility lies, China, not U.S. companies or the Securities and Exchange Commission. And today, we are only trying to give a vulnerable member and other Democrats who feel the need to, quote, get tough on China all of a sudden, a win. Sad, in my opinion. So I urge my colleagues to oppose H.R. 6270 as it will limit opportunities for everyday investors, reduce the number of public companies, increase compliance costs on businesses, and may harm actually the Uyghurs themselves that this bill is intending to protect. Let's go after China. Let's not go after the Uyghurs. I reserve the balance of my time.